Welcome back to Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. We're coming to you from the Advantage Center at our podcast studio at Saban Field. Roger Hoover now pleased to be joined by Alabama baseball infielder Brennen Norton, who has taken over, starting a second baseman spot for the Crimson Tide the last few weeks. And Brennen, first of all, roll Tide. How are you enjoying this year here in Crimson as opposed to JSU Red?
It's actually really cool just because, you get to represent your state and just being able to be with this team just because it means so much to us. And we got like a mixture of kind of a little bit of everything because, we have great pitching. Hitting has been phenomenal. Fielding's been great. So I think just kind of this team has made it a lot more enjoyable just because of the dudes that I'm around. And like no matter what, if I'm having a bad day, they're going to pick me up. And if they're having a bad day, I'm going to be there to pick them up. So it's just kind of that perfect balance of, team chemistry and just kind of having that almost like reject feel to us because like we love this game and we play really hard and we love it.
Alabama off to a 17-1 start as we talk, getting ready for the Texas A&M series. Did you see a start like this building from the fall with all the hard work you guys have been putting in?
I did, for sure, just because I knew we had the right pieces. It was just how are we going to like put them together. So I kind of saw it from the get-go just because I could tell everyone was like kind of on board with that, hey, we're going to be tougher than everyone mentality. And so even from the fall, just how hard we worked and how much time we put in and everything we did kind of led up to this. So to me, it's not like I kind of felt like this was going to happen. And I know we still have a lot, like long ways to go, but I think this is like the perfect timing of everything kind of coming together and pitching, doing great, throwing shutouts, and then hitting just doing our job. Runners in scoring position, we get them in. So.
Yeah, it's been a really good start to the year for Alabama, and we'll focus on this season for a few more moments. Looking back to opening weekend, we knew what the kind of rotation was going to be around second base. You would be there some. You could also play some third. Garrett Staten could play as well, but he gets injured in the first midweek game that Alabama has. What was your response once you saw that injury and then taking over that role as he continues to work his way back and just getting that extra playing time as opposed to maybe rotating in and out some of the lineup? What's that meant?
Obviously, that's not what you want to see. Like being Garrett, I love Garrett, and so like that was kind of tough for me. But at the same time, I gotta get past it, step up, and just do my job while I have the time. And so, while he's being one of the best teammates ever, I just gotta get out there and be confident in what I do and trust the work that we all put in the fall. And so, it's been great. I love hitting. So, being able to hit every day is kind of cool. But like I said, it's kind of bad to see a teammate go down like that. But at the same time, you just got to step up.
And you certainly have some huge hits, some home runs, even going back to Jacksonville, the Ohio State comeback. What have been some of your favorite moments early in this season?
Definitely I think every day is awesome just because I get to be with these guys around me. But I would say the most memorable one was obviously Ohio State because I've actually never been a part of a game like that. And just like backs against the wall, Coach Vaughn huddled us up and basically told us like they're stressing right now because they know that our offense isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing. And so just having that like trust in each other was really cool. That's when I was like, all right, we're really, really good because we just had so many unselfish at-bats and just, being able to do that was actually crazy because like I said, I've never been a part of a game like that. And so just having trust in each other. So, like, going back to the Ohio State game, I like to say get out of the boat means, have faith in each other basically. And so, like, being able to have faith down 10-0 in each other is like pretty special to me. So that was kind of my highlight of the season so far.
Yeah, you're down 10-0, and then you're able to work your way back in that ball game. LeBron, a couple of huge home runs, and then Big Doe, Will Hodo with the walk-off home run. Just how exhilarating was that celebration, especially in your career? Have you ever experienced anything like that?
I have not. That's actually, like I said, been one of the craziest games I've been a part of just because of who all stepped up. You got Bold. I mean, he took like 5 walks that game or something crazy. And then, of course, LeBron being LeBron hits 2, 3 run jacks. And so that's everyday LeBron stuff. So, and then Big Doe, I feel like it couldn't have happened to a better person because I was actually telling Cade when I was on deck, I was like, I feel like this is just right, like for him. Because, I mean, he does everything right. He's a great human. Shout out to Will Hoda. So, like, I don't think it could have happened more perfectly to a better group of guys and to a better human. So, that was pretty cool just kind of watching it, like, straight from the on-deck circle.
Yeah, great moment for the Crimson Tide. And for you, you've had a couple of moments as well. 2 games against your former team, Jacksonville State. What's that been like going up against them, not only here in Tuscaloosa, but last week we were on the road in the Dust Bowl setting over there at Rudy Abbott Field.
That Dust Bowl was actually one of the craziest games I've ever been a part of. Also, just because of how hard the wind was blowing and the fact that you could hardly see at the plate because of how dusty it was. But I'm not gonna lie, when they played at our place, it was a little stressful just because, I mean, you're gonna get that. Same thing with, like, Cade was telling me, like, before the game, like, hey, just don't make it bigger than it is, because I tried to last year, and just keep being you, don't change anything. And so it was a little stressful just because, I mean, I was there for 3 years. It wasn't like I was 1 and out. So it's just kind of built up emotion, and then finally, when first pitch, it was just like everything went away. I was playing the game, not the opposing team. So that's kind of how I felt about it.
And now you got those out of the way, too.
Yeah.
You got to focus on the
Definitely.
rest of the year at this point, right?
For sure.
Well, that's good. Well, again, you started your baseball career at Jacksonville State. Let's back it up just a little bit. Tell us where you're from.
I'm from Coleman, Alabama. It's about an hour and 25, 30 minutes northeast of here. So it's not a bad drive.
Yeah, not a bad drive at all. We've seen a lot of Alabama, not only baseball players, but athletes from all sports come to Tuscaloosa for sports. Do you remember some of the guys and girls you grew up with that eventually made their way here?
I know a few, like, older ones, like, of course, Ben Moore, Colby Robinson, Noah Fondren came here for like a semester. I remember him. And then, weird enough, I know a cheerleader that goes here. We dated in middle school, but yeah, I know a cheerleader here, Ashton Story. But I think that's all I remember, to be honest.
I got you. Well, yeah, but does that put college stuff maybe a little more on your radar? Like knowing, like, all right, people are going to the same high school I am, having the same experiences, and then they're able to go college ball like that?
Yeah. Kinda. I'm having struggle with that question. Can you rephrase it?
No, it's all good. It's just like seeing people make it, went to the same high school you did, like, a guy like Colby Robinson, when he comes here, does that make you think like, all right, I'm doing similar things? Does this give me a path a little bit?
So, yeah, it gives me a little bit of more confidence. Be like, oh, if he can do it, I can do it. And so, yeah. But then again, it's like never see yourself in this spot, kind of. So it's kind of like a dream come true, but also like in the back of your head, you're like, oh, well, I worked my whole life for this, so you enjoy it. So, yeah, I think that just kind of I hope this tells other people, like, hey, it doesn't matter what your path is. I mean, you could still go to somewhere big, and you can go somewhere and be successful too.
Yeah, it certainly does. And then for you, was baseball your top sport always growing up, or did you have some other ones you liked?
No, I was actually a Pee Wee football All-American. Not really, but if there was All-American awards, I probably would have got it. Yeah, my whole life, it was up until like 8th grade, it was football. Because, of course, I was this size in 5th grade, so, like, I was like Marshawn Lynch out there just running through people. Like, that's just how it was. I dreamed, I mean, all I thought about was football. And then people started growing, so I was like, I don't think this is for me. I mean, when the dude across from me is about 6'2" and 230 pounds in 8th grade, I think I'm gonna stick to baseball. And so, yeah, in 8th grade, I actually signed up for 9th grade football, and then the day before spring training. I was like, yeah, I don't think I can do this. So then I I didn't quit. I just walked away. I walked away from football, and so then I just stuck to baseball. And then ever since then, I was like, I mean, I think I do have a shot to be really good. So I just kind of ran with it.
Who are some of the coaches that helped you out the most in baseball?
For sure, Coach Brent Patterson. I still talk to him every day, and he's a head coach there. Shannon Fondren helped me with my pitching. Wasn't the best, but I got the job done. I threw strikes. Of course, like Jonathan Romine, he's another assistant coach. Of course, my dad, because you know how dads are. I actually just got a paragraph text last night about about hitting, so he's still on the ropes about that. And for sure, Manny Maniscalco, he's from Oxford. He was my travel ball coach. He kind of helped me get to where I needed to be. And so he made tons of phone calls for me, and I really appreciate him for that. And also Coach Patterson, he sent hundreds of emails and phone calls just for me to try to get somewhere I want to be. And I would say, I mean, there's a bunch more in my life, but I think those are the main ones.
How good was your travel ball experience? Have you seen some guys, even in college baseball, that you competed against at that level?
So I didn't play much travel ball. Like the whole travel ball thing kind of isn't for me because I like being like a close knit group, and I like doing something special with people that I know and like actually hang out with. But I do got to say, when I played with Excel COVID summer, because I needed to play, like we played 10, 11 games my junior year. So then you take a 2-month break, and like, I mean, you got to play. So I went to, or actually, I started in the fall of 2019. Started playing with Excel, loved it. And so then the COVID summer, I started playing with them. And of course, we played great competition. I loved them, and I actually liked the team. So, like, it didn't feel like a travel ball type of team. It kind of felt like a high school. And so, funny, like, I played, like, last night, Wesley Helms, I played with him. Played with the guy that goes to Huntington and a few other guys that went to Auburn. And then I'm pretty sure it's my first game of the summer. That summer we were playing in Lake Point, and we played this team. It's called the Tri-State Arsenal, and this 6'8" like long, lanky outfielder comes up to the plate. I'm like, who is that? And then he proceeded. I think he hit 2 bombs that game. Turns out it was James Wood that plays with the Nationals now. And so, like, I was shaking his hand after the game, and his hands were unbelievable. He swallowed I think he could have picked me up with his hand and held me like a basketball. And so, and then, funny enough, fast forward to my senior year with Coleman, we're playing IMG during that, like, top 25 showdown tournament or whatever. And of course, he's on there, hits 2 home runs, and it's unbelievable. And then, I asked him, like, you remember playing Excel during the summer, knowing that he wouldn't know. And he was like, no. I was like, all right, well, appreciate you. You have fun in the draft. So go get drafted, get a lot of money, and have fun with it. So, yeah, but I think that's the main one that stood out was James Wood, just because, I mean, he's a freak of nature. So,
yeah, how did you mentioned the COVID summer? How did COVID affect your recruiting?
it affected me pretty good bit, just because, but also at the same time, it kind of opened doors because everyone was playing travel ball, and all the coaches didn't have a season, so they're going to tournaments. So I would say it was kind of good and bad at the same time. Good, I mean, obviously bad because of what happened and losing season and the whole shabacle. But I think it was good just because, like I said, it opened so many doors for me and also my other teammates because coaches didn't have anything to do. Like, I think there was hardly any like collegiate summer ball. So I think just having that ability to literally go play 7 days a week almost opened a lot of doors for me and a lot of other people. So I think it was worse for the seniors in front of me, just because like the people who wasn't signed or whatever, and uh, was trying to sign during the season or whatever. I think that it was worse for them, but it affected me, but not or my class, but not anything crazy.
And so for you, you make the decision to sign with Jacksonville State. Kind of what allowed them to separate from the rest of the pack of teams you were talking to around that time?
Just kind of the people there. It was kind of between them and South Alabama, and I just chose Jacksonville State just because I felt like I really, really liked Coach Evan Bush. He's at Southeastern Louisiana now, and I really liked that whole coaching staff. Just kind of old school feel, like nothing pretty. Like you're just gonna get out there and play ball. Like you don't need all the, all the gear and stuff. Like gear's cool, but like we're here to play ball, and so I think that's what I liked about him so much.
And then how did you start to work your way in the lineup once you got there and made that transition from high school baseball or travel ball to playing college baseball?
Honestly, I just kind of went out there and did what I normally do. I mean, I didn't try to make anything crazy of it. Like I knew like who I was and what kind of player I was. So I just told myself if I played the way I normally play and just have fun with it, and if I don't play, then I'll be the best teammate. If I am, then I'll just do my job in the lineup. And so just kind of working my way into it was, I think, the hardest thing, because coming from high school, it's completely different. Like their arms in the bullpen that are 89, 92, when in high school, the bullpens were like 78, 81. So like I think I adjusted a lot quicker just because I had a lot of old guys around me and mature guys that would like kind of speak life into me and give me like pointers and tips on like how to just play, not play like a freshman, but just play like a collegiate baseball player. And so, you got Carson Crow, he's from here. He helped me out a lot. Cole Frederick's from here. He helped me out a lot. And we called him Nancy. He was our catcher, Nancy Kerrigan. He was one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. Numbers guy. He was also number one in Madden. Like number one player in Madden for like years. Like I remember one time he missed practice for a Madden tournament. And if he
missed practice.
Yeah, and he coordinated with coach and whatever. And so coach was like, "Yeah, well, how much money are you going to make?" And he was like, "I think it's around $500,000." And like, unfortunately, he got put out like I think third round or something. But yeah, he was like, "Well, I'll tell you what, if you win that tournament, you have to make or build us a batter's eye." So Nance was like, "Sure, yeah, I'll do it, yeah." And so, but he was probably one of the most, like, I guess, biggest people to kind of impact me there, just because of how smart he was, and also having the smarts and the baseball IQ just kind of went hand in hand. So I thought that was pretty cool.
How'd you play him in Madden? How'd you hold it? No, you stayed away?
Yeah, I'm not a big video game guy, to be honest. But yeah, I tried to stay away. But I did watch him play someone online, and he beat him like 85-0. It was actually unreal.
Yeah, I'm just curious about that. Do they have like a go-to play? Like, how's he doing that?
Yeah, I forgot what he told me. He said he made this play, and it was perfect. It was like a screen. And I think the running back, I'm not sure, goes around it's like a hitch, and then the running back will go around, and then it's just a deep ball. And I think it worked every single time. Obviously, he's beating people 85-0, so that was pretty funny.
That's a pretty cool experience. So for you as well, Jacksonville State, not only are you playing in your own conference, did they change conferences during the time you were there as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I got in there my freshman and sophomore year. We were ASUN. So that's with Florida Gulf Coast. It was with Lipscomb. Liberty was in it for a little bit. Kennesaw was in it. And then last year, they switched to Conference USA. So that was with like DBU, Sam Houston, La Tech. Really good teams. It was like almost like, so in ASUN, it was kind of a hitting conference. Like everyone's just going to hit the brakes off. And so going to Conference USA, it was a lot more like pitching. It was kind of balanced. So I thought that was pretty cool that I got like to see kind of both sides of it. And then here it's like everything, defense, offense, pitching, like everything's good. So I think it's kind of cool getting to experience like a lot of different things.
Yeah, you got to see a lot of different teams. I imagine the
Yeah.
travel is pretty cool too with both leagues.
Yeah.
You got to see
Yeah.
all the Southeast.
Yeah, definitely. Like going to Florida Gulf Coast, like my sophomore year, like they were unreal. And so it was just cool. I love traveling. Like me and my roommate, his name was Derek Jackson. He was our first baseman. Shout out DJ. But like, so when we would get back to the hotel, we would, if we go, like we played at Bellarmine, we would go to Louisville. And so we would kind of like ride around on the scooters and see everything. And like when we went to Florida Gulf Coast, we went to the beach. Me, Caleb Johnson, and Derek Jackson went to the beach and hung out and tried to get our tan on, but it was not working. we still had those mean tan lines. So.
Yeah, the baseball tan doesn't go away.
Yeah,
definitely.
never.
So for you as well, you get to compete against Alabama. What was that experience like? What do you remember about playing either at the Joe or the games in Jacksonville?
It was kind of cool just because like I said, I always felt like I was kind of like a dirtbag. Like felt like here was too like pretty boy for me. It was just crazy because I get here and it's like complete opposite. It's like this team is like the wildest team. Like we don't care. We could care less who it is, what they do. Like we don't care. And so that's what I liked. And so like playing them, I was like, oh, a bunch of pretty boys. Like we're the rejects. Like we're playing them and they didn't want us. So like let's show them like they should have wanted us. And so that's what I was like basically telling my team. Like even when we played Kentucky my freshman year, first series of the year, I told them like, yeah, these are the guys that didn't want us. Like let's go out there and let's like basically kick them in the dirt. Like they don't want us, so let's show them why. And so it was cool just because I remember it was our first midweek of the year, my freshman year. We played here. And of course, I was wearing the neon arm sleeve, neon gloves, like trying to show out, like trying to be like, hey, you should have picked me. But that's not a good way to go about it for future people that play baseball. But yeah, it was cool just because, like, you know, I felt like that. It's a hard way to put it without sounding bad, but like that coaching staff didn't really want me much, so like it's kind of cool to go back out there and play and say like, oh, well, maybe you should have. So I think, well, and then my sophomore year, it was 17-3, and that was a long game. Let's just say that. So, but it was cool playing here, and so it's even cooler like playing for the fans. So
that's definitely good. So you've gotten to experience now kind of both sides of the midweek coin. You've been the mid-major team that's going to an SEC school, and now you've been part of the SEC school that gets through a tough weekend. Now you got another midweek team, so you know what the motivation's like on that other side now, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because like even in Jacksonville, playing Auburn, playing Bama, like the big SEC schools, those midweeks meant like everything to us. Because it was like, oh, we're going to prove that we're just as good as y'all. When, like, you know, the Auburns or Alabamas are going to be like, oh, well, we're good, and we're going to show you. Like, so it's cool, like, being able to experience both just because, like I said, like, this year I feel like we're not like that. We're good, we're going to win. They're playing their World Series right now, so we have to, like, lock in and do our job. So I think that's what's cool about it.
Yeah, it's a really good experience. Good time for you at Jacksonville State. How about summer ball the last few years? Where have you been?
So my freshman year, I went to Lima, Ohio. Shout out to Sue. That's my host mom. She was awesome. I think that's why a lot of people complain about summer ball. But I love summer ball. Like, it was fun. Like, you go to the middle of nowhere with a bunch of dudes that have the same thing in mind and just wake up and play baseball. No school. You're not doing school. You wake up, you play baseball, you go home, you sleep. So, like, went to Lima, Ohio my freshman summer. Awesome. The funny thing was, sorry, Bill, but we towards the end of the season, we wanted to go home so bad that we were trying to not win. And then we won. So we kept winning. And so we made it to the championship, game 3, and then The Hamilton Joes, man, they kicked us in that third game, but we put up a fight. That's all that mattered.
Sounds like
And
the
then-
South Park Little League episode when they're trying to end this summer. That's you guys, right?
Yes, that's the actually craziest thing because any summer ball team ever that wants to go home always starts winning when they're like, I'm over this. Like I didn't because that competitive nature in me was like,
Yeah.
nah, let's just ride it out and win. Like we came here for the reason to win, like to win a championship or whatever. So let's just win. But everyone's like, dude, I just want to go home. And I was like, all right, whatever. Y'all just do that and hopefully get good juju from y'all wanting to go home. And then then I went to Montpelier, Vermont this past summer. Because my sophomore summer I went to Macon and just don't want to
Making bacon?
yeah. This long story. And then I went to play with the Vermont Mountaineers in Montpelier, Vermont, and that was one of the coolest experiences I've ever been a part of. Just because I'm an hour from the Canadian border, I've never been this north in my life, and complete culture shock. Like town, like that was technically like one of the biggest cities in Vermont, and it was like tiny. So like
smaller than Jacksonville?
Yeah. It was I would say about like Jacksonville. Okay. And just going there, like my host family was awesome. Like they still text me like the other day because I roomed with Josh Sibley from Jacksonville, and then this dude that goes to Erskine, we call him Yo-Yo. And my host family texted in our group chat that we had and sent a picture of me batting and then Sibley in the background when we were playing at Jacksonville. And so I thought that was cool. Like they still keep up with us and text us like every other week. And like even coming back, they gave me a bag of like goodies or whatever, and it had like maple syrup in there, maple syrup popcorn. And so like it wasn't just like we were going there, like they just kind of stayed out of, like they hung out with us. And like my host dad played men's league baseball on every Sunday. Coolest field, no fences. The dugouts were just kind of run down, but like live pitchers. Like he's 50 years old and he's throwing like hard. I would say he was like probably 80 to 84. Like
wow.
he was chunking it. And so going to watch that was pretty cool. Just seeing a bunch of old dudes, you know, having fun with it, you know, drinking during a men's league. And so I thought that was pretty cool. Really cool experience. I highly suggest going to summer ball.
Yeah, that's really good experiences for you. And now you get that we talked about the mid-major experience, Jacksonville State. Go in the transfer portal after 3 good years there, and then you sign with Alabama. First of all, what was that portal experience like for you? Did you hear from a lot of teams?
I did. It was actually wild just because, you know, just you get a lot of texts, a lot of phone calls, and like it was a little different. Like mine wasn't like a blowing up, like if Justin LeBron got in the portal or something, it'd be just over and over and over. But I did get phone calls and met a lot of great coaches, met a lot of good dudes. But I just felt like here was right, just because I didn't commit until like a day after the draft maybe. And so it was also kind of stressful just because going up to summer ball and not being able to go to like visits or whatever. Like I'm not the one to go to a visit and do that media day and have the photo shoot. Like I don't care. Like just like tell me who you are and like kind of what y'all represent, and like we'll go from there. I don't need all the pretty lights and all that. And so going to summer ball is just kind of frustrating because like everything outside of baseball was like awesome, but like when you're stressing about like you don't have a school, like you don't know where you're going and you're trying to play baseball with that, it's just kind of tough. But that's also where that kind of mental edge comes in. Like, hey, just focus on today, play the game today, and then everything else will figure itself out. And so, yeah, I got on a phone call, I think it was July the 4th with Coach Vaughn, and we just kind of chatted it up. And I was like, yeah, just basically give me a shot. Like, kind of everything fell through because I was actually going to go to Kansas or UCF, and then Coach Vaughn called, and I was like, well, that's a lot better drive for my parents, so that'd be cool if I could, represent the state and come here. So got on a phone call with him, was just chatting, just like kind of getting to know each other. And by the phone call, I think he loved me just because I was like, just give me a shot. Like, I'm willing to bet on myself. Like, I don't care. Like, just let me come there in the fall. Like, if I'm not good, just tell me and I'll just be a regular student. And then if I'm good enough to be on the team, I'll just be a good teammate if I'm not good enough to play. But if I'm good enough to play, then, I'm gonna come here to do some damage. And so so we just started chatting, and like I said, I think he liked me. And hopefully he still loves me now. But yeah, I love the coaching staff. I love Coach Mo. He's one of the best recruiters ever, just because he knows how to talk to like the younger generation. Like that's how he was like kind of persuaded me. But I mean, I knew from the get go I wanted to go here over the other two. And so Coach Mo, I love Coach Pap. I didn't meet Coach Woody or Coach Mikey until I got here. But those are some of my favorite coaches ever, just because like they're so fun to be around, and just like all the coaches are like laid back, but they want what's best for you, and so that's what I really liked.
Yeah, that's really good to see. And then you make that decision, and you talked about before, you wondered, maybe I'm not Alabama material, this polished, pretty boy type image. But then I imagine pretty quickly, once you got to meet some of your teammates, get to work in the fall, you realize that, yes, this is a very blue collar team.
Yes, it's very, very blue collar. And I think just like how we worked, how we went about our business was like was an eye opening of like, oh, well, this team is different. It's not like every SEC school that I've ever thought of being like, oh, everything's handed to them. They get like all this cool gear and like they don't have to worry about anything. Well, like obviously like we get treated amazing, but like we don't expect those things. Like it's the difference between getting it and expecting it. So like we don't expect all the pretty lights and all the cool gear. Like we don't care. We want to win ball games. Like that's what I like to call grit. So just win ball games and you'll get incentive later. So
yeah, that's really good. And Coach Vaughn talks about grit all the time. The ownership, toughness, grit. I mean, I'm sure that's been beaten into you.
For sure.
Cade Snell ends up being voted on as the captain for this team. What do you think your teammates realized in him, or you saw in him, to allow him to be the captain this year?
I mean, it was kind of obvious, just because, I mean, like last night, he was feeling awful. I don't know if anyone could tell, but he had a little too much Shake Shack, and he was not. he was not the normal Cade Snell, let me tell you. And so he was in the dugout, like squatting down, like it looked like he was about to throw up everywhere. And so him full-fledged Superman diving for a ball while Shake Shack is still in his throat is actually, it's beyond me. And so like that's the kind of stuff like it's pretty obvious that he's our guy, he's our cap. And so and like even we had a scrimmage late January, dove back into the bag. He was at first, like popped his finger out of place and then bang, right back in place. So I think that's kind of the obvious, just because kind of his path and like what he's been through. I think he's like one of the most deserving people on the team, obviously, just because how hard he's worked, what he's been through, and just like even last year with his back deal, just kind of working through that and still managing to put up a great year. I think it was kind of just like it's obvious.
Yeah. Coach Vaughn talks about, the Tallahassee Regional looked like Cade could barely move in the dugout, then goes out, hits a home run. Like you mentioned, a little too much Shake Shack, and all of a sudden he's able to get that diving catch and a two-run homer.
Yeah, he was I got back to the dugout after that, and I was like, yeah, flu game, Cade, flu game. He's like, I'm about to throw up.
He didn't want to hear it.
Yeah, I was like, well, at first because he wasn't being normal Cade. It was like the second inning, and he's bent over by the rail, like begging for life, like praying that something does not come out of his stomach. And so I was like, "Hey, Cade, you good?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." I was like, "You don't look good, brother." And so then I went to ask, I think it was Bryce. I was like, "What's wrong with Cade? He's about to die over there." He was like, "He had too much Shake Shack." And I was like, "Well, yep, that'll do it to you." And so, yeah, that was one of the wildest things I've ever seen in my life.
Story behind the UAB win right there from Brennen Norton.
Oh, yeah.
That's really good. Well, even Coach Vaughn, we talked about Cade being a leader. He's talked about you being a leader, and especially your first year in this program and somebody that keeps everybody loose. How do you feel like you keep that clubhouse and dugout loose during ball games?
Yeah, so, I've been compared to Kevin Millar a lot, and so just kind of having that little flair and, like, not care about me. Like, I don't care what anyone thinks. Like, I dyed my hair pink in the fall. I mean, it's for breast cancer, but, like, dyeing my hair pink, like, really? Who cares? Like, when I get a job, I'm not going to be able to do it. So why not just have a little fun now? Like when I'm working, I can't be doing that. So like, why not get it out now? My mom wasn't too happy. Sorry about that, Mom. And my dad was just
Just like that's Brennan at this point. I mean, nothing probably surprised.
Well, actually, it was kind of the opposite. My mom was like, "Again, really?" Because I did it last year during the season too. And then my dad was like, he started shaking my head when he saw it. And so, I think just because Cade's more of the vocal leader, I think I'm more of like the actions leader because, like, I may be hurting, I may be yelling a lot, like saying goofy stuff on the field, but like when it comes down to it, I'm like gonna lock in and do what I need to do to, help the team out. And so, I mean, that's cool. I mean, being kind of one of the leaders on the SEC team is awesome, just because, everyone kind of looks to you, and so I think that's like a dream come true. But like I said, yeah, I like keeping people loose. Like, no one's good when they're playing uptight. So like being able to be that guy on the team that's kind of dancing in the dugout and making up the celebrations and stuff. Like, I think that's awesome. So like, I think that's what we've kind of embraced is like having fun and not caring. Like, who cares? It's a game. Like, we're just a speck of dust in the middle of the universe. Like, who actually cares? So
it's getting really deep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. But like, who cares? Like, no one really cares.
Oh, that's good. Well, fans do care about celebrations, and there have been some good ones for all the home runs. Kind of explain the different celebrations we're seeing because it is a little bit different than what we've seen from Alabama baseball the last few years.
I think yes, I made the home run celebration, and it just kind of dawned upon me because I can't tell why because we are on camera, but I just started doing it during the spring when I hit a home run, and of course I'll wave out to the Ragers and do that. I got that from Marcelo Zuna actually because he'll wave to the chop house, spin it around, and then fly. I don't know why. I think I'm good with not knowing why. So I just started doing that, and then the home run celly, I just kind of happened, and so everyone loved it, and so we just kind of ran with it. But like the double celly, that actually came from G Stat. He would always do that, and so. But I mean, I like doing the, the Shakira hips don't lie double celly because it's funny. So, but yeah, G Stat came up with the double celly.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's really good. And you're going to celebrate a lot of Justin LeBron home runs. I mean, just you get to play next to him, at second base and shortstop. Just what do you see from this guy only as a sophomore?
I mean, everyone sees the success and, of course, the home runs and doubles and 100 RBIs before league play. But, I mean, it's just cool to watch him, like, just kind of go about his business every day because it's actually crazy because he's made me better even though I'm at second base. Like he's at short obviously, but he's made me better even though I'm 40 feet from him. So it's cool being able to play beside a guy like that, knowing his future's really, really bright. And so, and also being able to kind of like get to know him and like find out his personality. And even, I think even Coach Vaughn said that like he didn't like have this much fun last year. And so I think me just kind of like joking with him and, in between innings, kind of punching him before we go back to our positions, just kind of reminding him, hey, like let loose, have a little fun. Like it's just cool being beside a guy like that and being able to kind of impact him and him impact me at the same time. And like also him impact the whole team just because of how hard he works. And like people see that and think, oh, well, that's the reason why he's hitting 11 bombs or having 50 RBIs. So I think just being able to play beside a guy like that is like really, really special.
It really is cool. As we start to wrap things up, obviously, hopefully a great season coming up for you for the Crimson Tide. Pro Bowl time after that. Then after that, what do you think's next for Brennen Norton?
I really want to be a hitting coach anywhere. Like, but also like my dream is also kind of play in Japan. That'd be really cool because I've always had a weird obsession with Japan because it's a cool place. And but I would like to be a hitting coach, or I have a lot of plans, actually. I don't know, because I can draw, which is weird. So, like, I would like to be a tattoo artist, but my parents don't want that.
How many tattoos do you have?
I have a lot. Yeah.
Do you have a number or
I'm
no?
covered. I stopped counting.
You're beyond that.
Yeah, I'm beyond that. I promise. I heard it from my parents. So, yeah, she wasn't very happy when a month later I showed up with a sleeve. She was like, what did you just do? She's trying to scrub it off. But yeah, I want to be like a hitting coach in like the minors or like something like PAP, like just be a hitting coach in college. Or I'd like to like take a head coach job at like a junior college or something. Or when Coach Brent Patterson at Coleman retires, maybe take that job because I mean there you have all the resources. It's phenomenal. So I really don't know what I want to do, but I just know I just want to make an impact on people. That's all.
Well, we look forward to seeing what happens next for Brennen Norton. Best of luck coming up this weekend in College Station, and we look forward to checking with you again. Thank you for your time. Roll Tide.
Appreciate it. Roll Tide.